we are live. So welcome to Tamarah's Closet today. As you know, I'm really extremely passionate about horses. So anyone that knows me knows how much I love horses. I've loved them since I was a little girl. And so anytime I find an artist who paints a really beautiful horse, I've got to know more about them. And so I don't even remember how I found this artist. It was through Facebook. I just don't know what I was really researching at the time, because I actually think I found him sort of by accident. And he's with me today from Ireland, so I'm really, really excited about that, because I haven't interviewed anybody from Ireland yet. So I'm really excited about that, because it's a place I definitely want to visit. And but anyway, somehow I found him, and I knew I had to have him as a guest on my show after I did my research and saw all his work. He just does the most beautiful paintings of horses, and they're large, and I've always loved large paintings. I really do. So one thing I also like about this artist is when I met him and watched some of his videos, I realized what a great sense of humor he has. And anybody that really truly knows me knows how I love someone that can make me laugh, because I think laughter is the best medicine. So he's got a great sense of humor along with such a beautiful talent and gift. And he actually studied fine art at Crawford College of Art and Design, and gaining his higher diploma in art education. So he can be found working at his Cork-based White Tree Studio, which I want to remember to ask him about, creating many sought-after pieces of art. So without further delay, I want to go ahead and welcome Tony O'Connor from Ireland. Say hello, Tony, so I know you're still with me.
Comes to talk to you, Tamarah. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really and truly excited today, and I know that several artists that I've interviewed before, Tony, are either going to watch it live or the replay, because they have expressed to me how much they like your work. So you've got some new fans, new artist fans as well. So I'm happy about that. I like it when people come together and
they want to find out my secrets.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting any. I'm spilling nothing. Sorry, it's all mine. Find out the hard way. Sorry. This is going to be one quiet interview. Mostly points. There you go. What did I do? That's my jam right there. Figure it out yourselves, artists.
Okay. So he's not sharing his secrets. I don't know what you do when they come to your workshops, but anyway.
I sing to them.
Okay, that's good. Well, I've got to ask you about, because you are talented, and I always like to know about family history, because some people I've interviewed, they have no family history of that particular talent in their ancestry, and some people come from families just full of artists or whatever. So is there history of artists in your family, like your parents, or do you have siblings? Or
no. Short answer is no.
Okay, this is going to be a quick interview.
No. There is a huge family history with working with horses. So there is tradition there. My family were blacksmiths. So I come from a small little village in the west of Ireland. It's not as idyllic as you might think in America. It's just a small little town. And my granduncle was a blacksmith, as was my grandfather and his father and grandfather. So I would technically be a 6th generation blacksmith. And I did grow up in the forge with my granduncle, but I was too young to shoe any horses. I've never shoed a horse. But yeah. I once told a donkey to get lost. But so our family history is working with horses. So I was always kind of good at art, you know, as a child, and I drew horses. And my brothers and father, they're working with metal. They're welders and fitters and kind of engineering type stuff. So, but I was kind of the black sheep. But I continued with art. And no one else in the family is working with horses anymore, because we closed our forge in the 90s. So I think it's my job to continue the legacy of the O'Connor tradition of working with horses, but in a totally different sense, like, you know. So
right.
So
A blacksmith is there's an
A
art.
farrier.
It's a farrier. The art. There is an art to it. I was actually married to my second husband was a blacksmith farrier, and you know I learned so much about it through him that I was majorly impressed at how much you did need to know to do that. You know, so you learn a lot about horses that way.
But, yeah, well, if you're just standing looking at them all day, you'll find out about that. And I guess there's a certain art to forging metals as well. Well, there is of course an art to forging metals, and you know, don't touch the red metal because it burns. But you know, there's a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, and my brothers are quite creative as well, as is my father. They're always making little sculptures out of metal and stuff like that. So I guess they're kind of arty, but not arty-farty, like, you know, they're doing it in a more practical sense.
Yeah.
As opposed to me, I'm totally arty-farty with the beanie and the coffee and the wide mane of hair and the whole, on my chest, the whole lot, like, you know.
Well, how old were you when you realized you had a talent to draw? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'd say it was probably 5. In national school or elementary school that you guys go to, they have art competitions every year, and out of the class, I won the first. I remember actually walking up the aisle in the classroom to collect my trophy for painting something probably terrible, but I won that competition. So I knew right from the get-go that I was the arty one.
Wow.
Then,
was it finger painting?
Oh, probably. Like, I call it expressionist painting now these days. Like, you know, mostly finger painting. But then you get known as the arty guy, so you don't get picked for the soccer team, you don't get picked for the rugby team, so you're like, I'm just going to go to the art class and be a nerd. So that was me. I was a nerdy one, but yeah, I was always pretty good at art. So just as well, you know, because I was useless at kicking footballs. So.
Yeah. Well, you wear the rugby shirt real well. I thought maybe you played rugby. But,
I wear it well. That's true. I do. I got the build for it. But, yeah, put a rugby ball on my hand on, I'd say I'd fall over fairly quickly. I used to play a little bit, but
yeah.
I'm pushing on now. I'm getting old, so it's a young person's game.
Oh,
but yeah, I don't mind wearing the jersey because I look good. I make it look good.
Well, yeah, if it makes you feel any better, I was always the last one to get picked in school for, you know, in our what we called our fitness class or whatever. You had your phys ed class you had to take, and I hated that class because I was not an athlete, so to speak.
Yeah, I was either goalkeeper or substitute. That's what I was. I was a goalie, I think, because I took up most of the goals. That's about it, like, you know. So.
God.
Let's not bring up the fragmented tears of my past, shall we? This is an interview. It's not a counselling session, is it, Tamarah?
No, we'll try to be positive here. We'll stick your heart.
Don't go towards the light. No.
Well, let me ask, what sparked your passion for horses? I mean, I know you everybody had them, but you know, in your family. But what do you think sparked your passion for them?
I honestly don't know. I remember drawing them as a child, and my grandmother's kitchen table, not particularly on the table, but on a sketchbook. Probably drew them on the table as well, and got a clout across the side of the ear from her. Most likely, she didn't appreciate the early murals I did back then. But I think, like I said, it could be a kind of a collective consciousness, or it could be something that's kind of in the blood to work with horses. And I paint other subject matter as well, but I always return to the horse. Always. It's just kind of, I love painting them. Even today's piece, I was working on a painting today, and it was tricky during the week, and I just stood back from it and goes, yeah, I really like that piece. It's a beautiful, beautiful horse. And there's just something fresh about it that I really enjoy. And I just kind of get that hit every new piece that I start. So it hasn't got boring yet. So I'm going to continue cracking on with them. So.
That's great, because I know I did share some of your wildlife in the Facebook event page, because, you know, I didn't realize you had painted that, and I found those yesterday, and you really did a beautiful job with that antler series. That was really nice.
I do like painting horses with just coat hangers stuck in their head. So deer are pretty easy, like, you know. Plus, I'm from Kerry, amazing red deer. They're slightly smaller animal than your that you have there, so they're just amazing animals to paint. And the idea of doing Irish wildlife and stuff. So it's a nice break as well sometimes when you get stuck in the painting, and if you want to take a break away and do something different, you know, a change is as good as a rest. So
would you say your biggest attraction about the horse was just the fact that you wanted to paint it, or did you have a passion in that you enjoyed their energy and you liked to ride them back when you were younger? Or?
I didn't get much of a chance to ride them when I was younger, but I always had this fascination with them, that they were just, I guess because I was, you know, you're a small child looking at these massive animals, and they're just symbolized power and strength. And yeah, you could see in their eyes, they're like huge puppies. Like, they're just such beautiful eyes. And I kind of, in my work, I kind of want to get across that there's a strength and a beauty, but yet a power in the work and in the horses. So I think that's what I like to want. Subconsciously or consciously, I'm not too sure. I haven't delved too deeply into why I do it. How long is this session? I could go really deep into it.
Well, maybe that should have been one of those red questions I told you that would be real hard.
Oh, my problem. This beanie isn't just to keep my head warm, it's to keep my brain from exploding from tricky questions.
No. Well, you know, horses are, I think most people, even if they've never had any real experience with horses, they are so majestic, and they are just beautiful animals. And so I think people are always just fascinated with them, even if they've had no experience around them personally. They are just a fascinating creature, for sure. Yeah. And but I always liked it. I don't know, I just like their physical shape, their muscularity, and their manes and their tails, and they just always, and like you said, their eyes. Yeah.
I do have hair envy of them. It would be nice to have flowing mane. But, you know, I'm working on the whole muscle energy to look like a horse's ass, but like, I'm never going to have a tail or a mane.
So you're working out to get the muscularity, but
look like maybe, like, you
know. Well, you can get a wig and make it out of horsehair.
Mark, yeah, or just get a T-shirt going, "I'm a horse's ass," basically.
Well, who would you give most credit to for, you know, maybe when you were young in the beginning, supporting you, encouraging you to move to go with your passion as an artist? You know, was it?
Yeah, my parents were quite supportive. They were very supportive. Dad said I had two choices. He put me through art, put me through walls. So I said, right, I'll go to one or the other. So, and my aunt Mary was quite supportive. She always bought me materials and books as well. So I look forward to getting arty stuff. My mum was creative as well. Santa Claus used to visit. Every home had to design the posters for the Irish Country Women's Association would bring Santa, and she would do the posters to notify the Santa Claus coming. And I used to be fascinated with her drawing Santa all year until I turned about 10, which I could draw that poster. So she was kind of miffed that I got that job over her, like, you know. So she was like, "Oh, sure, you didn't get your talent from the Stones. You must have got it from me." So that's my mother's line, anyway. Like, yeah, they were very supportive. Definitely, my parents, and I think they're quite proud of the fact that I'm gone full time and making a good living out of it now, and actually being prominent and being recognised around the world for the to do, not just in Ireland. So, which is good.
That's
weird artist. So it was great.
That's great though, because you know, I've interviewed a lot of artists, and some of them, you know, even whether they're an artist, you know, of, you know, sketching on or painting on canvas, or an artist as a musician, a lot of them have had where their parents would say, well, they'd be supportive, but they go, well, are you going to get a real job, you know, just in case, you know? And so it's good that you had supportive parents.
Yeah, it's for, and my siblings. Like, I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Wow.
Well, Catholics, there you go. There was nothing on television in the 70s, 80s in Ireland, so I guess they had to have children. So siblings are quite supportive. Not now these days. There's we get American TV and everything. Like, there's no one having children, but it's great.
So there's 7 of you. Wow, that's.
I'm the eldest and the best, and I think they should have stopped after me, but I need entertainment, so that's why the rest of them did it. They came along, but they're all quite supportive as well. So they're every Christmas. Ooh, I want them Tony for Christmas for blood. So if they get me as Chris Kringle present, they know they're going to get something arty anyway. You know, so. But all support, they're all quite supportive as well. So.
That's good.
Which is great. Yeah, I think it's good. We're a very close-knit family, so it's good. Like, so.
That's good. That's good. Well, when you were in college at Crawford, did you have a mentor during that time? And do you have one today? Like an art mentor, someone you go to for? Well,
when I was in college, I think my mentor was mostly tequila. That took me through 5 years of college, basically. Tequila, the Rolling Stones, some Bob Marley, and maybe the Strokes, which are a great band. But that's what got me through art college. So I tripped my way through a haze of going through, you know, assessment after assessment. And I ended up with it after 5 years with a teaching degree. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? I'm not a teacher. I can't teach. So, what do you mean I'm responsible for taking care of kids? I can't do this crap. I want to paint pictures. So I didn't really have a mentor in college because I was painting horses in college, and tutors didn't really like, because what I do is probably seen as commercial art.
Yeah.
And not really experimental and stuff like that. And that's a big naughty bold step. Bold artist trying to make a living. How dare you? So
you're supposed to starve, you know.
No, you should be starving and yeah, work. You're not allowed to work for money. You're not allowed to sell your paintings. You're supposed to be experimental and art. So yeah. I didn't really have a mentor. There was 1 or 2 tutors who were quite good and gave me some good painting. I think it was my secondary school teacher, who before I was in college, Mr. Kevin Frost, Mr. Frost, or Frosty as they call it, he was very supportive, as in, like, he would just let me have the keys to the art room at lunchtime. If I had a free class, I could just walk into the art class, do whatever I wanted. And he was quite supportive of that, like, you know, but that was kind of like I was a big fish in a little pond in secondary school, whereas you go to art college, you're in a whole school of arty fishes, like, you know, so you're kind of, unless you're the standout kind of out there artist, you're not going to get noticed. So, but these days, I think, because of where my studios are based, I'm in a collaborative of artists. So there's about 70 artists in our building. We have like a 5-story building in the middle of the city, and it's fantastic. It's a place called Sample Studios, and it's used to be the old tax and revenue office until they get kicked out. And they goes, well, we'll put a bunch of artists in there. Who doesn't pay tax? Artists, let them in there. But, I'm only messing. I do pay my taxes. I do.
Well, what is White Tree Studio? Is your own studio, right?
Yeah, that's the title of my studio. That's me. So I'm kind of separate. It's just as a group, the group of 70 artists are. But we're all, you know, we all have our different business names and trading names. My goal eventually is to have the White Tree Gallery, White Tree Studio Gallery, to open up my own gallery and work predominantly from there. But since I have a beautiful, well, a really good location here in the city centre. It's perfect because I'm just looking out over Cork City, and just I can walk in like 2 minutes and I'm in the middle of the city centre. Just, it's not exactly New York, but it's lovely. It's just nice. So and there's so many artists around it. If you're stuck, you can just ask someone. There's a few painters that you want to ask them questions if you're stuck for color ideas and stuff like that. And you know, there's no one else really painting horses, and you know, a lot of them don't have horses or wouldn't be in this kind of field at all. But they'll give you feedback. They'll go, "There's something wrong about that," or "There's something." So you know, and it's good. It's good like that. Good to get critical feedback. And if you put your stuff online these days, you put it on Facebook, you will get feedback fairly rapidly. Your horse's ass is off. It's wrong. That's all wrong. Okay? So, but,
I know.
I get a lot of armchair critics, but it's cool. There is a gentleman here in Ireland, and I consider him to be the foremost equine art painter in Europe. Peter Curling, I think his work is amazing, and he opened an exhibition for me the year before last, and he's invited me to his studio, and I've had a couple of private tuitions with him, like regarding email and stuff like that. So if I had to have a mentor here in Ireland, I would think it's him, because he inspires me and he drives me on, and yeah, I just want to be like him when I grow up.
Well, that's good that you have him, though, because I think it is important to have someone to go to, just who's already been through a lot of the trials of becoming an artist, and just dealing with critics is hard enough, you know.
I think there's three people you need, isn't there? There's your mentor, the person you want to be. There's someone that's on the same level you, and there's someone that wants to be you. That if you're in contact with those type of three people, it keeps you grounded, but it gives you something to work with, and it gives you someone to mentor then as well. Like, you know, so
yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
That's a very good way to look at it. That is, you're right. Because you always want to be growing. But let me ask you this before I forget, because I wanted to ask you, do you remember what your very first subject was when you painted? Because you said when you were a little kid, you were sort of the finger painting or whatever. Well, what was that? Was that a horse that you...
I'd like to think it was, Tamarah. I really would like to think it was. And wouldn't it be profound if I said it was? But it was probably back in flower in the middle of a field and fellas kicking a ball over it or something like that. I really would like to think it was a horse. I do remember one year, the kind of earliest I remember painting a horse is one of those years that I was in elementary school. I did not win the art competition. I came second in it, and I was highly indignant that I came second.
Horrible.
I was sure that I was going to win it. But my best friend won the competition, Gerald Roach. And he drew a horse. He painted a horse for that thing. And he will never let me forget it, that he beat me by painting a horse in his art competition. And I'll never let him forget that it was his mother that's on the judging panel as well. So that's why I think he won. So, but that's the earliest I remember someone else painting a horse. Anyway, I think I might have been 9. Oh, I was raging. I was like, oh, I got this. This is my stuff. I got this competition. And he won it. I was like, oh, this must be my best friend if you did it. You painted a horse. And the leg was wrong and everything. I distinctly remember the leg going the wrong way, and he still won. Like, but the important thing is I'm not bitter and I don't hold a grudge. So Roach, if you're watching, I'm sorry I stole your topper after that. I'll give it back to you one of these days.
Well, when I was in grade school, that was the first thing I would draw. I would try to, but I never drew anything but the head. And I always had the same method: one ear, and it was always the profile. And I did the same thing every time. I never could draw the body, and I didn't do a great job of the head. But for me, I thought it was great.
But did you win competitions?
No.
But you are happy. That's all that counts.
I had a bunny rabbit. I think I drew a bunny's head. I never could do the body.
Bunny, horse, same thing, really. Like, when you're dealing with two amateurs, you know.
Big ears.
It could be a donkey. You'd have a small donkey with no legs. There you go.
Oh God!
And that's why I'm not teaching anymore. What's that meant to be? A rabbit. It looks like a dead rat. Get out of my class. So.
Well, I know I read there that you took a really serious approach to was this when you were in college, or was this earlier or later?
I just missed that. I heard earlier, later, and serious approach. So and I'm getting worried because me taking a serious approach to anything is kind of weird.
You took a serious approach to the studying the anatomy of the horse. I read, yeah. Where was was that when you were really young? College. Okay.
Well, no. I always kind of believed that anatomy anyway was important and a good foundation. So even when I was in secondary school, I thought that the more you could teach yourself, the more you could learn about the bone structure and the muscle structure of an animal or of a body or a face or anything, the more it could help you. So if you've got a good foundation, and if you know where there's a muscle here, there's a muscle there, there's, you know, I won't say it's Ron Burgundy, your upper dorsal, it's connected to your whatever, like, you know, so the burn kind of muscle. But it's kind of like if you don't have to name the muscles, but you know there's something there that when you tweak that, pulls that. So I kind of, I bought a George Stubbs book on anatomy, and I just was fascinated by the drawings in that, and I like drawing a lot of skulls, as macabre teenagers do, like, you know, but there were deer skulls and sheep skulls that you'd find in the mountains, and
yeah.
So I just like that type of, and I think it's important that artists, visual artists, have a basic skill set of drawing anyway. Like, you know, for me, because I'm kind of a traditionalist, and I think if you're drawing these babies, you kind of need to know where the muscles are and where the bone structure is. So for me, it's important anyway. And I think for most work that I see that sells, a lot of the customers like that work as well. They like to see that everything's in proportion. There's nice lines and conformation in their work. So.
Right. Well, when did you discover that horses were going to be your primary focus in painting? Because when you were in college, didn't they have you paint? You didn't have to do the human anatomy or the paint.
I did. Yeah, we did life drawing classes, so we had to draw naked people, which was great. I prefer drawing horses. Yeah, I did some weird landscape work, kind of freaky, grey, dismal landscape scenes when I was in college, and they loved that type of stuff because it was kind of ethereal and gloomy, and all just everything was mixed into one. But I still wanted to go back to drawing the horse, so because I just knew it was something I wanted to do. And then I just continued doing it myself and after college, and it took about 10 years after leaving college before I really decided this is what I want to do properly. So, you know, thanks. We have a thriving equine market here in Ireland and the UK, and the horse is kind of synonymous with our countries anyway. So it's a good market to be in, luckily for me. But even if I never sold a painting, I'd paint horses every day of the week because I just love doing them. So,
wow.
Fortunately, people seem to want to buy them. So I don't know. It's not as if they're coming up to me with a wad of cash going, "Paint my horses," but it would be nice. Like, throw me a tuppence bag of pennies going, "Paint my horse, peasant," and I'm like, I will, for free, sir, no problem.
Well, you're not supposed to collect money till after you died. That's when you get famous.
That's a common misperception, and I'm going to buck that trend right now. I'm telling you. Just because Van Gogh and some of those fellas never drove a Range Rover doesn't mean I can't. I don't deal with starving artists. I
don't know how that ever got started. It's like, it's crazy. It's just absurd. So.
I can't be dealing with that. No, I want steak on my side of steak with a steak on top, if you don't mind, please. Nice,
me too.
With a nice glass of red.
Oh, so you obviously got this huge attraction for the horse, and that is your main subject. But you did paint the wildlife a little bit, and you did that very well, I think. So. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if, as an artist, if you're just, you can get stagnant if you just stick with one subject matter, like, because I really branched out by just doing a slightly different animal. But you won't see me doing any humans anytime soon or anything like that. Although I tried once or twice and I'm like, oh, I really screwed that one up. Like, so we might just put that one back to the pile and not try that again. Although my last show I did incorporate a female figure into a horse painting. So I don't know. It's different. And I've tried landscape as well at some stage or other. I actually mixed green. I didn't realize I had that color in my paint box, but I'm like, ooh, green. I'll use this. How fancy is this? But it was scary, and I won't do it again for a while. But it's good. It's always nice to change things up and just try. Because, as I said before, it's our duty to evolve and to progress and to move on. I won't say move on, but like, keep pushing it that little bit more, like, so even though I kind of like my comfort zone of nice dark backgrounds and pretty horses, like, so for now,
I like that too. I mean, you could put some grass in their mouth and you could use green or something.
I could, but maybe you could. I threw away my green, so I can't mix it. I don't know how to mix greens anymore. I have no blue or yellow left. I'm sorry.
No, I just take photographs of them and then I'll post them and say it's a painting.
That's a good idea as well. I should try that as well. Here's something I painted earlier. It's actually a photograph that I just slightly pixelated in Photoshop. I can't even use the "I'm blonde" excuse, which is damn it.
I know. I thought that was so funny that I did that. But anyway, I was like, and it looks just like a photograph.
I know, he's damn good. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Tamarah posted a photograph of one of the works that I used as reference, but the actual reference photograph as opposed to the painting. And I'm like, yeah, she thinks I'm hyper realistic.
Well, thank God another artist saved the day.
It's okay. We forgive you. I was going to let it slide, but you brought it up. Just taking up the past again. So you are. So it's okay.
Oh God. Well, anyway, well, yours look very. I mean, the ones that I put here. I mean, and this doesn't even do it justice because they can't see it really well. But I mean, the lighting in this one up here is just beautiful. So in a little bit, I'm gonna let you talk about that. But
yeah, that's one of my earlier works. Really early works. That piece to talk.
Really.
Yeah, really early work. As is the full kind of grey horse that's turning there. Those works are about 5 years old. So
yeah, but they're beautiful.
I think I've progressed quite a bit since then. And the photograph of me then up in the corner, I look way better in real life than I do Zara. So if you hadn't noticed, there you go. It's just a harsh lighting.
Well, I put you in Photoshop and did some work of my own. So
I'm sure a lot of people do that. Like, I know you were trying to Photoshop your own head beside me, going, "Oh, how tall is he?" Something like that. Because I know when you were saying earlier on, you don't even know how you came across me online and stuff. Like, you know that you are researching good-looking Irish artists. And we can tell.
I have to delete my cookies.
You have cookies? Damn it! It's a no carb day for me.
I know. Well, see, I love to photograph people. That's my art, and I want to photograph everybody I've interviewed, and that's my goal. And I've already done some, and so yes, I guess I look for good-looking people. Not really, but
yeah. Well, aesthetics are part of what we're dealing with. Like, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't blame you, Tamarah. So yeah, I'll expect you in the first flight over from New York to Shannon in the morning. I'll be waiting. You could photograph me like you photograph your French girls.
That's right.
Oh,
Lord. But I have to ask you, when you start one of these large paintings, how long does the process usually take from like start to finish? Or I mean, I'm sure it varies somewhat, but
I guess averagely maybe 30 hours ish.
okay.
30. I started this piece. You might have seen the videos of it on Facebook.
Yeah.
The first one was just sketching it in. Second one was just blocking it, and I was kind of slightly distracted second time I was doing it because Ireland were playing South Africa in rugby, and I really wanted to listen to the rugby match. But as one would, you know, priorities. It's like our Super Bowl, but there's more than just one country involved. So it's kind of like, so yeah, there's a few more hours left in this one. So I'd say another maybe 10 hours we'll finish that, because I've about maybe 10 hours put into it already. So
wow.
But like most of my work is quite dark, so a lot of it is negative space. So a lot of that is just blocking in one tonal color, like, you know, so it might be just a burnt umber, and then your glaze over that, and then that looks like black from a distance, so you're grand. The only thing you really need to concentrate on is the horse's face or the arse, depending on the pose that you're painting, like, you know. So.
Well, is most of your work, you are working from a photograph you've taken, is that right?
Yeah, well, I'm quite fortunate that I have some amazing photographer friends. And
That's
I
good.
work in collaboration with them, like Annie Damhoff and Petra Zilling. They're over in Holland. They're just amazing. And Annie is just so accommodating. If you have an idea, or if you just want to, if you needed bay horses in certain poses and certain lights, they will set up the shoot and do that. And it's just,
wow.
It's just so, it's like so easy. I won't say it's easy because you still have to go do the work, but it's just brilliant having photographers as friends, because I'm okay with a camera, but compared to them, I'm like amateur hour at the OK Corral and say they're just.
But are they commission pieces, or just some are and some aren't, or?
Oh no, all this work is my work.
It's all just your work.
So I don't like the paintings that I like doing myself. Commission work is all well and good. I think most artists have to do commission work. It's kind of bread and butter, pay the bills kind of stuff. And what people like to do is they might send me a photograph of their horse and they want it in the style that I do my work, or the darker style, or I go take a photograph and do it in the darker style. But a lot of the work that I put up on Facebook is the dark background, the shiny is kind of my style that I like to mostly do. So
yeah,
unfortunately, that's the stuff that sells, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, I take a lot of photographs of my horse, and so I was just wondering if people were sending you photographs, or if you mostly it was just your work that these other photographers are taking pictures. So that's.
Yeah, well, if you've got I've got about 15 photographers from around the world that are pretty epic, you know. So, and it's always good to have a good business relationship with them as well. So then you've got exclusivity, and you've got, you know, they get a deal with the paintings. You know, it's good because you got to treat it like a business as well. You can't just take advantage of photographers and stuff like that and expect. You can't get stuff for free. And you need to invest in yourself, and you need to invest in your business associates and stuff like that. So it's always, I think it's good. And any budding artist like that was looking for that was, you know, where'd you get your references? You know, photographers are more than willing to talk to you, but you have got to have a good deal on the table as well. Like, you can't just go, it's going to be great exposure for you, because everyone hates that word. Like, you know, it means nothing. Exposure doesn't pay your mortgage, or exposure doesn't, you know, fuel your car. So
no,
you got to think of it like that as well. So yeah, I'm really grateful, because I don't think my career would be where it is today if it wasn't for photographers like Annie and stuff like that, because they've just been, yeah, star in just helping, because you're kind of I won't say standing on the shoulders of giants, but they've done so much work, and then you take it to the next level then as well. So really appreciative of having photographers like that. I'm hoping, I'm saving like wildfire to do a Tony Stromberg photography course.
Oh yeah.
So that would be pretty epic. I wanted to go this year, but I'm going to go to Lapland for Christmas instead, because I want to see Santa Claus. And ask him where the heck is my bike from a couple of years ago. He never brought it. So I'm going to have words with him. But next year, who knows what can happen. Like, hopefully,
well, I have a few words for Santa too, so maybe I'll give them to you just forward to.
Do I'll just say, yeah, mail them on to me. I'm sure I'll have these. Where's the complaints department? That wasn't that naughty.
Well, naughty. Really. Your bio says that you use influences. This is what I wanted you to talk about: silver point style of Da Vinci and drawings of Michelangelo. Can you talk about how that how you came to like this style and how it's influenced in your paintings. And this might be a good place for you to, you know, if you want to talk about, because I did Google that because I wasn't sure what that was, since I'm not really an artist in that sense. And the silver point, something about running the wire across the...
That's how Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo did it back in the day. I never used silver point myself, but I was influenced by the style that they draw. So and how the toned paper and the highlights by just using chalk and Conte, and it was their style of drawing more so than the process of drawing. Yeah, although in some paintings I use the same kind of process of using rabbit skin glue to size the canvases on board and stuff like that. So, and that's going back to the Renaissance period and stuff like that. But quite a few artists do that as well. Stinks your studio up. It really gives a lovely size to work on your canvases. But yeah, no, I think that's when my style was slightly different. When in college, I did a lot of really drawing style work on board and on canvas, and I was drawing the horse with really sharp graphite on toned backgrounds on hard board. So I think that's where that stems from. But now I think I've got a lot more painterly. I've been influenced a lot more by, I won't say the Impressionists like Monet or Armani or anything like that, but it's still, I still feel I'm getting a bit more painterly, because it's not, I don't do photorealism at all. Like if you look up closely to my work, it's like patches of color, and then when you stand back maybe 10, 15 feet, it all comes together and it looks right. But I'm really lazy. I just let your eyes do the work.
Not like that photograph I posted.
Oh, and if I was really lazy, I just use the damn photograph, but I just blow it off.
Well, you're going to go to Tony Stromberg's school, so maybe you can just...
Hopefully. That's the plan. I think, well, we all have to have goals, and that's definitely one of the goals for next year. So yeah. It's on the vision board, so it's going. It will happen. If it's on that, it'll happen. So
yeah, I want to interview him. I sent an email, and he told me he was going to get back with me. I haven't heard yet, but I can tell he's really, really busy. So
he is a busy man. He does workshops all over the world all the times. But I sent him a tentative email, and he did reply, going, "Yeah, blah, blah, I'm just going on a course somewhere." And I'm like, "Oh man, I'd love to be that busy." But I'm sure he gets about 100 emails a day asking.
Oh yeah, he's
at least.
Yeah, at least. Well, did you want to show? This would be a good place for you to show some of your work and talk about it.
Well, I can show you. I'm sure you've seen that one, which is a big one.
Yeah, I love that one.
But this one behind him, I'm just going to take off my speakers. 1 second.
Okay.
You still hear me? Nearly lost her. So this is a beautiful mirror. Not too sure if you can see her too much there now.
Yeah.
So I'll just see if I can drop her down a bit.
That's beautiful.
So she's a beautiful kind of bay horse. She's got a beautiful blaze coming. It's tricky to see in these harsh lights because the light, but it's really nice. So this is a 3 foot by 5 foot piece, and it's still it's still wet. So I shouldn't have done that because I was working. Well, just never mind that. I'll just fix that up a bit later on. That's the typical kind of work that I do now. I used to do a lot of grey horses when I was in college, but I love doing bay horses.
Well, when you're talking about the on that one video you were doing the blocking in the oil.
hopefully. And I probably ruined the connection.
No, I can hear you now. I lost you for a minute.
Yeah, because I moved 4 feet over that way. Thanks, horse's ass, but not the painting, not me or you. But yeah, there's some of the works that I've gone on at the moment. So they're kind of the standard sizes that I do. So we'd like 5 foot by 3 foot or 6 foot by 4 foot. So relatively large paintings. But again, quite a lot of negative space in the work as well. So most of the detail is just right here. So that's just what hits you is a horse's face. So that kind of has to be right. Because this just fades into darkness over here. It's just negative space here. So everything that you see here and all the colors, they have to be kind of spot on because that's what the viewer is just hit with. So
but you're using oils, but then I saw you using a brush one time, but then when you were doing some, it looked like more tedious work. It looked like you were using a different tool. Are they all brushes or?
Yeah, well, what I do, my technique is quite simple. I sketch everything in really, first of all, with a pencil or charcoal, really quickly get everything in proportion. Then I normally use an acrylic wash, like burnt umber and ultramarine. Block everything in acrylics really quickly so I've no white canvas left. Everything is a toned color. And then once that's dry, which generally takes no time at all, it's dry. By the time you're finished from one side, it's done. You can go back and over that with oil paints. And
what is the blocking? What is that? That's the term.
Blocking in is, well, I said blocking is you're just putting down one color, but you're blocking in a whole area of it. It's blocking in. So like the under color here would be an orange or burnt sienna. But that's way too bright, but I blocked it in an orange. So afterwards, I know I can put a glaze of purple over that and knock it back down to a more natural looking color. So you're just blocking in basic tones and colors to start with. Like, you know, it's just, I think it's a quick process because you're just blocking in as much color as possible.
And you're still using a brush to do that?
Yeah, everything. I use brush. I don't use huge brushes. I think from inch to quarter inch, and I use flat brushes, which are just like the chisel brushes. And they're my favorite brushes. I go through about a pack every 2 or 3 weeks because I just paint so rigorously with them. Like you just have to fire them away. So there's no point in me buying really expensive brushes because it just won't last. So. Like I'm like, right, I have 4 paintings to do. I better buy myself about 20 brushes. That's so. And it's always nice to get, nice new brush. I'm going to do the nice detail with the new brush, and then by the end of the painting, you're there like, it's all gonna stray. So, but I do have some brushes that I like to keep clean, proper. Like so, it's good. They get washed, and put away and dried every evening and stuff like that when I leave the studio because I don't. I keep this for an extra day. Every day I have you as a bonus. You don't want to be too precious. Well, you can't be too precious with your materials because you're using them to create stuff. So it's like you can't. No point having a candle unless you light it. So.
Yeah. But the face on this one, the bridle and everything, that looks very detailed. But you're saying if you got really close, it's not as.
Yeah. If you look. See if I can see it there. It's come here to me.
Yeah.
It's just basically lines, and you can see I haven't blended any of the paint. I get my own big head out of the way. I haven't blended any of the colors there. So you've got basically lavender up against brown. So once that's properly dry, I can go back and over there with another glaze and smoothen that out another bit. Just a bit, but I won't smoothen it too much because that's just too much work.
Right.
And when you get the effect without doing that, you don't really have to. But that's how I work anyway, and I like doing it like that. It's nice to be slightly looser in the pieces anyway, because otherwise I'd just be posting photographs.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to start sending you some photographs because I love taking pictures of horses, and so it sounds like these photographers just take them and send them to you. And
No. No. Doesn't. Oh Jesus, my inbox will be inundated. But
Yeah.
It generally is like people like my Facebook message inbox is generally you're coming like if I have to turn off notifications because you just get dinged every 10 minutes. People
Oh,
going,
yeah.
look at my horse. You should paint my horse. He's beautiful. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, you should pay me to paint your horse, and maybe I'll consider it. Like so maybe take a better photograph of your horse. It's not in an iPhone or a Snapchat of your horse. Thanks very much.
Snapchat.
Yeah. Can you paint this? And it's a Snapchat of a horse in a distant corner of a field, and I'm like, yeah, totally. Get out of here. So, yeah. So some of my photographers that I trust and have a direct link to my Dropbox, and and he'll just go, oh, I took these today. They might be of interest to you, and I'm like, yeah, send the bloody things on. So so I'll have a look. So and it's always nice to have a surprise ding from Dropbox because there's always going to be something nice in it or something. So
for sure.
Yes, they're like, oh, that's another 7 paintings right there. So it's great. They always kind of come when you're having a slump. It's kind of like, oh man, I'm just bogged down in work now, and I really could do something fresh and new, and then you get a ding, and we're like, oh, perfect. I don't have to go out and get wet and cold in the fields looking at horses. I can just use these things.
Well, I wanted you to have a chance to talk about your awards a bit because you've won several awards. I think 2 international art competitions, and then the Best Creative Equestrian and Social Media, that sounded interesting. I haven't heard of that. And then you won the People's Choice and the Judge's Choice in 2014. Can you talk about those? And I know I brought a picture of one that I found.
Yeah, that was for that was just, I think they liked the when you're starting off back in the day, you kind of enter competitions just for get validation and to get your name and your work out there. So I thought it was a good idea, and I had no real confidence back then. I entered a few pieces, and that one actually won. And they really liked the composition of it and the color and stuff like that. So I think that was a good thing to win because it spurred me on a little bit and gave me that extra boost of confidence that one needs when you're starting out as an artist. I don't really enter too many competitions these days anymore, but when you're starting off, maybe it's a good thing for your confidence. And the Equestrian Social Media Awards thing were basically a fun thing. It was like the online, the ESMAs, they're like the Oscars of the horsey world. It was basically because I was just a complete social media tart. Basically just being a floozy, just entertaining people online, and it was just fun because I think I am pretty proactive on my Facebook page, and I kind of post every day. And back when Facebook was allowing people to see your posts, I get a lot of regular visitors, and people would come to the page just see what was happening and what I'd paint and stuff. And they're still doing that at the moment if they remember to come visit the page. So yeah, that was fun. And I think it's because I just brought an element of humor, maybe an element of cheekiness without cockiness, and myself to it, because you can be serious. I could be completely serious about, if I wanted to, about art and why I like painting, stuff like that. But that's just not me. I can't be serious. I can. So I just don't want to be. What's the point? Life is serious enough. So, and I think on Facebook you have to have, on social media, most social media platforms, people come there for a bit of escapism.
Yeah.
And if you can laugh, and if you can have the crack without being mean, and just be positive and be motivating and inspiring towards people, they'll come back and they'll generally like you as a person because you're not being a dick, and which is always a good thing. So that should be my motto. Tony O'Connor, the Equine Artist, not a dick. So.
Well, I think the majority of people that use Facebook, the majority are on there to socialize. But so many people have realized they can use it to market their businesses. And so I think the fact that you add an element of humor, I always do inspirational posts because that's how I keep people coming back, and then posting my my new photography and stuff. But because if you're too serious, then people aren't going to come to your page. You know,
No,
they won't come back.
if you're all doom and gloom and all serious,
Yeah.
and if you're all sales driven, if you're all sales
Yeah.
oriented, you're going to lose anything. So you just, but then again, you kind of have to be slightly salesy. You need to have some type of Shopify link or something like that, because at the end of the day, if you're not making money from it, it's going to be tricky, to continue doing what you're doing, so. And unfortunately, Facebook is it's a blessing and a curse. It's fantastic, and it's got great customers, but it's a lot of work. It's almost a second-time job keeping your social media platforms. And I know a lot of people you can get people to do that work for you, to upload all your stuff and chat and pretend to be you or be your admin or something like that. But I think a lot of your followers will see through that, and they want to know the artist. They want to know you. They want to know they're talking to you, as opposed to some random bloke going, yeah, this is your secretary posting on behalf of Tony. So
yeah, I agree. It does take a lot of work. I spend so much time on there because all the people that I market, that I interview, I spend hours upon hours marketing everybody, and I go, God, it's a lot of work. But when
it's
you
rewarding if it works.
It's rewarding. And then I thought, if you do let someone else do it, then it's not you, and then I think it becomes too mechanical. But you're good at, what have you found is is Facebook your best marketing source, or what would you say?
Well, I use everything. I say everything. I use Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, newsletters. I've got the website. Out of all of those, I've got the online. I've got my Shopify store, and they're all linked to everything. So I think what I can see from the Shopify store, most traffic comes through Facebook. So I'd say Facebook is pretty successful, especially, if you're when you boost your ads and stuff like that. But unfortunately, you have to boost them, otherwise no one gets to see them. But it's a business at the end of the day, so unless you speculate you got to speculate to accumulate. So you got to play the Facebook game, as it's their business. So I think, but you have to be on all social media platforms. You've got to be on everything to be seen, to be heard. Because you could be the most amazing artist in the world, but if no one sees your work, you're going to stay the most amazing artist in the world, and that'll be great if you believe it. But if no one sees it, how are you going to carry on making a living out of it? So I think every artist should have some type of blog, some type of have to have a web page. And if it's not an e-commerce page, what's the point? It's like walking into a store and not having a register till, because you can't buy anything, So if you're creating something, make sure that there's a business side to it as well. So it'll fund you to continue to do what you do on a daily basis. Keep you in good beanies and coffee.
Right. I know. Yeah. So I've seen you on all of them, because I use the ones you do, Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram. Instagram's pretty big now, and Facebook and I use LinkedIn as well, and Tumblr.
I haven't used Tumblr. That's the one thing I must have a nose at. I'm beginning to get onto YouTube now as well. But the live video feeds on Facebook are fantastic, I think.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really beneficial way to reach an organic reach with your audience, and especially for art, because a lot of people are so fascinated by how art is done. Everyone has different processes, everyone has different things, and within an hour you can see a huge difference from a blank canvas to just what happens. And I think people are just really interested in the process. It's not as if it's a secret, or we're the guardians of the art secrets in the world and no one else can find them. I don't mind sharing what I do, and I think it's privileged that people actually take time to watch what I do as well. I complain about Facebook, but that broadcast live thing, it's good. If you get it right, it's good. you know, so.
Yeah, it is. I just started using it, and I use when I use this platform, but I use for my shows. But then I also use what is it? Periscope. That's connected to Twitter, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twitter. I've never. I seem to understand Facebook better than Twitter.
Twitter. I think Twitter. I won't say it's more of an immediate thing. You have to be really fast. You have to be really quick. You have to have something. I won't say smart arse to say, but you have to have something either funny, witty, intelligent, and I'm definitely not going to have any one of those at any given stage. Like, I do it the odd time, all right. I'm like, perfect, got the perfect response. Oh, some asshole got in 30 seconds exactly with the same comment that I was going to put in. Why am I quick enough? But it's a fantastic way. Twitter is like, famous people will retweet or contact or just go give you, you know, it just makes the world a much, much, much smaller place. Like, you know, so you could never know who could retweet your stuff or see your work or stuff like this. Famous people in England and Ireland that have retweeted my stuff, and you're like, whoa, I was just retweeted. Nigella Lawson just liked my tweet. Wow, amazing. That just made my day, like, you know, so you never know. She knows I exist. But yeah, I think Twitter is more of an immediate thing. It's not a visual thing, whereas Facebook is more visual.
Yeah.
Even more of an extent than Instagram, because all you do is hashtag the bejesus out of everything. You don't have to say anything else. You know? Hashtag art tart. Hashtag look at me, I'm shameless. So it's that type of stuff, really.
Oh God. Well, where do you find your inspiration? Like, what inspires you to? I don't know, because you were talking about sometimes you do have a block, or there must be something that keeps you motivated or inspired, because like you said, you don't have a background, you don't, it's all about the horse. So what keeps you, where do you pull from for, motivated and keeps you inspired, I guess?
I think I get, each painting I do, or maybe every 4 or 5 paintings, something happens in one of those pieces that'll spur me on or give me an idea for another piece, and another kind of theme or something like that. Like I've been saying this, I want to go down the Pegasus route, or just do huge, big Pegasus pieces, and that's the next. But I think my motivation, my goals currently at the moment are deadlines, which is kind of scary, but I think as an artist, that's one of the most important forms of motivation that you can get, is if you've got looming deadlines. So I have the Dublin Horse Show to work towards, which is in 4 weeks' time. Massive, massive show for me. So that's 17 pieces that need to be hung and finished by then. A few weeks after that, then there's Hoy's, the Horse of the Year show in the UK. That's something I really, really want to do, and that's taking me up into October. So Dublin is generally almost a sellout, so there'll have to be another 10 to 15 pieces done for that show. Then you're into commissions market for Christmas. I have a show in Canada in March, so that's another 15 pieces. And then when you come home from Canada, there's the Dublin Horse Show again. It's constant deadlines, so you don't really have time not to be motivated. So it's just a question of keeping yourself going. And the horse, it's like just looking at beautiful horses is a constant source of inspiration anyway. So, and just, having something to look forward to is my motivation, basically. And taking a break at Christmas for a weekend, for a week, 1 weekend of a break. I'm taking 4 days off. So
but you do the calendars too. So
that's a great way. That's just, I do G-clay prints and I do calendars, and the calendars are a fun thing. I got a few thousand of them printed up now, and that they'll just sell through the Shopify store, and that's just revenue that comes in. You don't have to do anything, just basically sign the front of the calendar. It's like have my autograph, and package them off, and you've got 14 images of what I've painted during the year in the calendar, and it's pretty good. And unfortunately, people actually want to buy them, so it's great. But it was just a nice idea that I had a few years ago, and I said, I'll run with this. And you get asked as early as April or May, when are you doing calendars this year? And I'm like, Jesus, it's only 4 months into the year. There's another get value out of the one that you bought this last year, like, you know. So I think I'll have the new ones. I think they should be ready next week because I need them for the Dublin horse. So, and it's all those things you have to think about. You're going, it's only the 6th month of the year, but you've got to think about 2017. I'm actually thinking about work for 2018 already. So it's kind of, you have to think a year, 2 years in advance. So, which is not great when you can't retain that much information in here. You can write everything down, like, you know. So it's like, I knew there was something happening. Like, do I have an interview? I have an interview on Friday evening. Where have I written that? And I'm like, if it wasn't for you, constantly like tagging me, I'm like, shit, it's tomorrow. I know I got to get stuff ready for this. Like, you know, make sure everything's like, booked the auditorium room so there's no one in the studio and they can't be disturbing me. So I gotta do all that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't think sometimes you get a slight block for maybe 24 hours or something like that, and you just walk away. Everyone does that. It's good for a break.
Oh yeah.
But then you're itching to come back. I just want to get back. Like the bay horses that I'm doing at the moment, I have 5 of them on the go. I want to start another 2 before Dublin, so I'll have those, and I really can't wait to start them because I know they're beautiful. There will be really, really beautiful pieces. So I'm looking forward to it. And I discovered 2 new colors, so I really want to use those. I'm like a child, you know when you open a box of Crayola and you're there like, oh, red, I can smell the red. I discovered this kind of lavender, kind of beautiful Old Holland paint. It was like a series 4, so it was like nearly $50 for a small little tube, and I'm like, I want a tube of that. And just because it was really expensive and it just looked like I wouldn't be able to mix that myself, so I'm going to buy the tube and treat myself. But I found it's perfect for the highlights. You know, instead of using white mixed with just that little touch of lavender on the thing, I'm like, oh, I need to use that way more. I need to have my lavender period now on horses, like, you know. So, so I'm looking forward to seeing how I can push that. And there's a few other colors that I just want to play with and see how I can ruin them. But like, yeah, it's just, you know, when you get excited about stupid stuff like that, you clearly love your job. Like, you know, for the new color today, I'm going to use it mostly. Or I always remember my brother rang me a few months ago, and he was a older, and he was down this really confined space, and he was cutting out pipes, and he was sweating and covered, and it was really tough work for him, like, you know. And he was like, oh, I had a really tough day today, I'm knackered. And he goes, what did you do? And he goes, I just drew a unicorn and I sold it to a lady in America. And he was there like, how old are you? Like, you know? So I said, yeah, I spent my day drawing a unicorn. And yeah, he hung up the phone out of annoyance, like, you know. So yeah, like, you know, the lady in America got pleasure out of buying unicorns. I think it's the little things like that make you know, just are the perks of the job, like, you know. Not that it's not a perk of the job to do what you love every day of the week anyway, but it's just, you know, when you're still excited, you're going, oh, I need to paint that, or oh, I want new brushes, or when you open up that first whiff of turpentine, and you go, ah, I'm practically flammable now. I could wear it as an aftershave.
Well, what do you like most about what you do? Like, as far as your time in the studio versus traveling to exhibitions and being there live where people are viewing your work and you're standing there.
No.
You don't like that part?
I don't think, no, that's necessarily evil, unfortunately. That's we don't to be. You have to see that. What I like is what I love is if it's flogging rain outside, if it's really kind of grey, miserable, cold, rainy, dark day here in Ireland. And strangely, we get quite a few of those here now. I love coming into the studio. I love turning on the lights. I love doing a drawing. I love starting a new canvas. I love the door being shut, having a coffee there, and just turning on the radio and listening to some music while painting. That's what I love. I think it's in our nature to be solitary animals when we're doing our own private business. So it's kind of that's what I like doing. The demos, the live demos when you're doing that type of stuff. Yeah, nerve-wracking as hell, like, you know, and you know, you have to be a personality to get away with that type of stuff. I always feel that people could practically visualize the bead of sweat running down my back as I'm painting. You just don't look close. And there's always the fear that, like, in the studio, they're like, yeah, I got this. This is my jam. I can do this, no problem. I'm an awesome artist. You step outside the door of your studio and you're like, shit, I can't paint. What am I doing? I hate my life. I'm going back to work in retail or be a dancer. So it's always those type of things. And,
I didn't know if you like the exhibitions where you can be standing there with your finished art. And
no, that once everyone walks away after opening night, it's okay. But it's a lot of pressure because you're putting your work out there. People are coming and stuff like. People are obviously going to, you know, blow smoke up your ass and say, "Oh, it's amazing. Your stuff is made. You're a beautiful painter. It's all this type of stuff," which is. You know, and a lot of people actually mean it as well. They really love the work and they wouldn't bother coming to the show unless they didn't like the work. But there's always that nerves at the back of your head and your heart and stuff like that because, you know, you're putting your work out there and you're still not 100% sure. And unless you see physical red dots in each painting at the end of the show, like, you know, unless the work sells, it's, you know, that's true validation that your work is good. That if someone actually parts with their hard-earned cash and invests in your work, that's what it means to me anyway. But yeah, I hate exhibition openings. Hate them. Hate having to talk in public. Hate having to look uncomfortably squirmy in public. I have to dress up now and not wear fat pants in public. Damn it. So, why can't I wear stretchy pants going to an exhibition opening? Why do I have to look like someone shaved a gorilla and put him in a tux? I'm like, oh, great. What's going on here? I even had to do it last night. We opened a show in the National Stud here in Ireland. And I was asked to get a group of artists together to get a show and just have it in the Stud. And it was in aid of the Irish Horse Welfare Trust, a charity here. And I said, no problem doing that, got it together, hung the show, and it opened last night. And of course, then they go, oh, we'd like to get Tony to say a few words now because he practically curated it and stuff like that. And I'm like, don't ask me to say anything. I'll just shut up and look at the paintings, like, you know what? And it was like, actually, it's just a room full of people looking at you, and you're there like, all right, try not to fumble over your words. You do speak English. You learned English in school, but yeah. Your brain is having a fart moment and you forget that you can actually speak English and you're there like and I'm like, and I was probably the only one in the room that wasn't drinking and it made no sense whatsoever.
So it sounds like the exhibitions are your biggest challenge. I was going to ask you what your biggest challenge was as an artist.
There you go, exhibitions.
Is that your biggest challenge?
Getting people to differentiate my work between paintings and photographs, I guess. That's another challenge. That's a new challenge. More recent challenge.
Due to me, that my big oops.
Just remember, I don't hold on to grudges, or I'm not bitter. Remember that. It's okay. It's only taken 30 years for me to forgive my friend for like beating me in an art competition. So we're good. I'm sure we'll be fine next week. Don't worry.
I think it's worse for me being a photographer and not being able to tell the difference.
It's just gonna. That's a horse. Put it up. It looks like one of his. It's fine. No one will look. It'll be grand. Just put some Vaseline on the lens of the camera. It'll be grand. Blur it out a bit. Soft focus. That's what we're going for. I should have put some on the lens of this. Go for soft focus.
Oh God, that was funny though. But I wanted you to have a chance because you posted several workshops, and you're also the resident artist at the Equine Art Retreat in Oklahoma. What is that about? What?
Well, that was kind of fun actually. That was a few years, 2 years ago actually. Actually, this month 2 years ago, I was contacted by Geordie White. They own the Island Guest Ranch in Oklahoma, and Rebecca Mickelberg. She's an English artist, and they said, would you like to come up to Oklahoma and teach a class, a workshop? And first instincts were like, block them, stalkers, oh, block. Stranger danger. But I got chatted to them and they were actually normal enough, relatively normal enough. So I said I'd get on well with them. So we went over to Oklahoma, and yeah, it was great fun. It was like great crack. Riding horses around, pretending to be John Wayne, and eating lots of beef and high fructose corn syrup based snacks that you guys seem to love over there. But it was fun. It was good. So we did a few retreats over there. So, and they had obviously a lot of horses out there, so we could draw the horses live, come back in the evening and the afternoon and do our own work in the lodge. I didn't get a chance to do it this year because it was just super busy.
Yeah.
And next year is pretty busy next year. But I think the year after that we might go over for a month and maybe do two retreats if Jordy is still up for it, if they get the place clean and if all the alcohol bottles have been washed up after the group of artists who were there for the last couple of years. Because we did discover a 360 chocolate vodka in Oslo. It's like triple distilled chocolate vodka. And we just went in for a beer one day into the... You don't sell spirits in supermarkets. We had to go to an off license, or I don't know, you do differently over there. And next thing we were there, like, oh, we'll just get some bottles of wine, and someone spotted chocolate flavored vodka. And someone said, there has to be a God. If that exists, there has to be a God. So we cleaned out the liquor store of bottles. And it's really funny stuff because it just actually tastes like molten chocolate.
Wow.
Where you put it into the freezer and you just sip it away, but you don't get drunk from your head up. You get drunk from your legs up. So it's perfect. So you think you're perfectly normal, but what it does, it gets your legs super drunk and it raises the volume of your voice, and you don't even know this. So it's kind of like, hey, everybody, I'm going to bed right now. And you get up to go to bed and you're on your ass before you know it. So yeah, with a few experiences like that. But we still managed to paint quite a lot of horses, which is quite fun. Like, you know, so as soon as the state of Oklahoma turns into a dry state, I'll be back over there again because I can't drink chocolate vodka anymore. So.
Well, do you like teaching though? Do you like that?
It was fun. It was fun. It was adults. So it was easier to teach than kids. So you could give out to them way easier. Go, nope, don't do that. That's the wrong color. Stop it. Put the brush down. But start again. Go home, and there you go. But no, it was funny. I do it again. It was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And just being in, like, obviously in Oklahoma, a completely different culture to what we have over here. So it was good fun. Yeah, so I definitely do it again. And, you know, it's not just all art. It's like a lot of it's ranch life as well. Like, you know, so you get to see everything involved. The art is a part of a good 50% of it, but we call them students, but the people that came on the students,
the students, yeah. Those people you were helping.
Yeah, people probably hindered more than helped. I think they enjoyed themselves because, you know, you're getting served up home cooked ranch food, like, you know, 3 times a day, and yeah, so you have to go on a diet before you go there, and you go on a diet after you come there, because I swear, if Jordy White has anything to do with it, you'd be at least, you know, 14 kg heavier by the time you come back from. She just can't, I just can't eat that much food, like, you know, because you're a big strapping lad, keep eating. I'm like, yeah, but, you know, I've only paid for 1 plane ticket on the way home. My ass is going to take up 2 seats by the time. It's good fun, yeah. It's good fun to do it again. So maybe the year after next, with the help of God, if we're all still alive and working. So.
Well, that sounds like great, and I think you would be a fun teacher, I'm sure. So. Well,
I do look good in a cowboy hat, so doesn't matter. Photography opportunity there for you, like, you know, just a hat only.
Well, one more question before I let you go. I want to know, what advice would you give someone an aspiring artist? Do you recommend that they go to college, or do you think someone can be self-taught through workshops, so to speak?
Yes. Well, college, it depends on the type of art that you want to do. I think if you want to go down to commercial, taking some art classes might be beneficial. Life drawing classes, photography classes, you know, night courses and stuff like that, all help with your foundation of your skill sets. Going to art college is not necessarily good. As a business thing, any customer, any client of mine that has bought paintings off me have never asked me for my degree, have never asked me for my artist statement, have never asked me for, you know, where'd you go to college? Like, it's, you know, if you go to college, I didn't go to college, and if I did go to college, I swear to God, I learned nothing in college, just how to slam shots. That's about it, really. I literally
We
can't
must
remember.
have gone to the same school.
Yeah, it's quite a few people have the same experience. We probably were in college together. Like, that was me over in the. How's it going? You're well. You're round. No, that's mine. But it was just a blur. So my college experience wasn't hectic but I think that's what they do in art college. They kind of knock that thing out of you, and they get you try to think in different spheres and different things, which can be good in one way. And I'm not too sure what the colleges are like in America. I think they should teach students the business ethics, what to do when you leave college. Like, what are you going to do with an art degree? What is your job? Are you finished? Now you've got your degree, your master's. What can you do? How are you going to use it? I think they should do colors. They should teach painters how to paint, like how to stretch a canvas. Basics on color mixing. I learned most of it from reading books and just practice. If you're an aspiring artist, you practice anyway, whether you like it or not, because it's your job to love what you do. Really, you're an artist. You need to know what you're doing. So you just practice. You practice loads. You know, the whole gallery thing is kind of this for and against, approaching galleries, going to work, because they'll take 50% commission off you straight away anyway, and you're there, you're stuck, left with that, and all your hard work is going to the gallery, and you're like, So because of all the social media that we have stuff at the moment, if you do not have a Facebook page, if you do not have a Twitter page, if you're not in a newsletter, if you're not posting on social media every single day, and you're just building up why aren't you doing it? You're not helping yourself. At the end of the studio day, or even if you're working from your bedroom in your parents' house, doing sketches or doing little paintings for your friends, make sure you document that stuff. Don't give away your work for free. Do not give away your work free. Devalues you, devalues your work. It's demeaning to you. You don't see Tiffany's giving away their work. You don't see, Mercedes giving away stuff. What we're doing, these are luxury products. These are create emotion in people. Our product is emotion as an artist. Our product, that's what we are selling, is emotion.
That's a good way to look at it. It is.
So it's not a horse. It's a horse. It's a very emotive. It's a horse. But it's the feeling you get. It could be anything. It could be an apple, or it could be but it's the feeling you get. You look at that painting. I'm going to get. It's going to be different feeling you get. But that emotion that we've captured, and what the viewer feels, that's what they're buying. They're not buying it because it's a lemon or a horse. They're buying it because they have a connection with that. And that, essentially, as an artist, is what we are selling, is our product. And if you give away that for free, you've demeaned everything. It means nothing to the person that's getting it. It means nothing to you, because you've put your hard work into it, and you're just giving it away. And I think don't give away your work free. Make sure you get something out of it. Donating work as well, it's the same type of thing. Why donate your work unless you're getting something out of it? Okay, it's helping charities and stuff like that, but don't go. That's a slippery slope that you can go down, because people will expect you to do free stuff, and then that again devalues your work, devalues you, and you're seen as an easy target. So that's what I would do. Be confident with your work as well. Just learn to deal with criticism, because it's I can't. And if you find out how to deal with it, tell me, because I just can't deal with it sometimes. Thankfully I've got gym in half an hour, so I can take my aggression and my all my rage out there by deadlifting something or other. But that's what I would say to the artists: don't give up, don't, and just follow what you want to do. If you're scared, good. because, you know, you'll try harder and you put more work into it. And don't expect anyone to do anything else for you. Do it yourself. Exactly. And if you need help, ask. But like, don't expect anyone to do it for you if you're not going to do it for yourself. Right. You can only be so far until people just sick of helping you if you're not going to help yourself. So you have to be motivated and get out there and do it. I think that's a goodly bit of advice for anyone who's aspiring to do anything, really, I think. Especially in the arts. Yeah, get out and do it. And be relentless. Be a media tart. Do interviews with lovely people from New York. And just do everything you can to promote yourself. When you go back home in the evenings, just go, what did I do today to promote myself, to better myself, and how am I better today than I was yesterday? And how can I be better tomorrow than I was today? What little bit can I do? It might be just doing a sketch. It might be just that extra half hour you put into work. It might be you might have contacted a photographer. You might have contacted a gallery. It's that little step that you do each day to do something. So there you go. Right. That's what I do.
I think that's good advice. That's good advice. Exactly. And I tell people, you know, post your work even though you're new, because I think generally, especially when people do know you're just starting out, I think people are genuinely nice. I think it's when you get more accomplished that the haters come.
Oh yeah, haters going to hate. Haters going to hate. Criticizers going to critique. And Tony's going to block. Delete comment. Which is funny. You wouldn't like just a random stranger in the street's not going to come up to me like, you know, I'm 6'2" and I'm just a big guy, like, you know. So they're not going to go, that's terrible painting. And you're there, you wouldn't say that to me in real life. Like, why would you say that to me? Like, just.
I know.
Yeah, but sure. You just got to learn to deal with it. Suck it up, because art is so subjective.
It is.
You know, someone's going to love something, someone's going to hate something. So you just got to go, what was it? No matter where you go in the world, you'll always find an asshole. So just be prepared for that as well. Like, you know.
That's true. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So.
But there's a lot of good people out there.
There's a lot of good people. Thankfully, thankfully. They outweigh the assholes thing. Mostly. Depends on where you go.
True. Oh, God. Well, I hate to end this today, Tony. This has been so much fun. But I know you've got to go to the gym, and I know you've got masterpieces to paint. So.
Mostly gym. I got mostly the gym. That's where my coach would be there, like, where the hell is it? 7 o'clock.
So, but I want to thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to add today that we didn't mention? Or I know you've got your calendar that'll be coming up, and
I think we covered most things. Yeah, the calendar will be available in the Shopify store at the end of July. All the Giclée prints are there. The Dublin Horse Show. If anyone wants to come to the Dublin Horse Show, you know, just a quick flight over from London or from New York up to Shannon and come up to us. Or just, you know, it's only a small trip across the road, like, you know, 5 hours really, isn't it?
I don't know. Actually,
I'll buy you a pint if you come over.
I'm in North Carolina, actually. So.
Oh, that's my New York time.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. It could be way hours ahead. Like, you know, I'm sure it's only a few hours more. Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's worth it coming over here anyway.
But you can learn more about Tony too and visit his shop, which is at whitetreestudio.ie. And so he's got a great website, and which is, you know, it's a very impressive website. And I know you've got your prints there, and you've got the calendar information. So that's a great place to learn more about Tony. And you'll also be able to see a replay of this interview at tamarahscloset.com. It'll also be on my YouTube channel, which is just Tamarah Ellen. And make sure that you share this replay so that we can continue to celebrate Tony and his beautiful work. Because the more you share things, the more it helps him get him exposed, and so that other people can enjoy his great talent.
No one wants to see me exposed tomorrow. No, we don't. At least let me get to 6-pack before that happens. Okay. That'll be next year's calendar.
You with the horse, right?
January.
You'll be the new background.
I'll be like, I'll just be I'll be an extra month in the year.
Oh God. Well, don't hang up, Tony. Stay with me here. I will just wanted to thank the viewers for their continued support. And stay tuned to Tamarah's Closet. I'm lining up some really great people for the summer. Summer's always, you know, challenge booking people because people are out on vacation, but I've really got some great people lining up. And as soon as I get some solid dates, I do have a solid date with another artist, Joe Martinbolt, coming in July from Montreal. So he's a really talented artist. So make sure you stay tuned. Find me on Facebook so you can keep up to date with my upcoming interviews. And to your own success, just keep on rocking it. And we'll see you next time. So take care and have a great weekend.